Hey, it's Derek Wahler from Ideal Body, and today we're going to talk about the 5 most frequently asked questions I get around intermittent fasting. So we're going to clear up all the confusion right here in this short video. Let's get to it. So there's a lot of questions that pop up when it comes to intermittent fasting. And even though fasting itself is pretty simple, you're basically just not eating, it's easy to get confused because there's all this information out there. So I'm gonna go through the top 5 questions that I get so I can clear up all the confusion for you. So question number 1 that I get most often is, how long should I fast? And this is actually a very personal question because it's not the same for everybody. What I always recommend is start small. So just remember, what is your schedule like now? Are you staying up till 10 o'clock at night eating? Are you staying up till midnight eating? This can shift depending on your work schedules as well. But how late are you staying up to eat? And then when is your first meal in the morning? So if you're staying up till 11 o'clock at night snacking while you're watching a movie, and then you're eating breakfast at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning before you go to work, I wouldn't recommend doing a 16-hour fast right off the bat because it's gonna be too big of a shock to your system. You're probably not gonna feel very good doing it. Your stomach's just gonna be in knots and kind of all over the place. So I just recommend pushing it back an hour. So you know your routine better than anybody else. So when do you usually eat first in the morning? Do you eat at 6, 7, 5? When is it? And just push it back an hour. Start there. And then when you do that, a couple times a week, do that for the next 2, 3, 4 days. And once you kind of got that under control and that's a new habit of yours, then step it up and go 2 hours past. So that's what I did when I started this. I was eating at 4 o'clock in the morning for some of my breakfast when I was working 3 jobs at one time. And so I was eating super early. And then I started gradually pushing it back to where I was eating at, 8 o'clock. Then I pushed it back to 10 o'clock. And now I pushed it back to, 11:30, 12 o'clock is when I like to have my first meal. And that's usually when I do it. So I don't do a lot of, 24-hour fast or, 48-hour fast or anything like that. I've done a 24-hour fast once and that's about it. So just, notice where you're at now and just start pushing it back half hour by half hour, hour by hour, until you kind of find that sweet spot where you actually get hungry the next day, but you're not just looking at the clock, waiting to eat. Where it's just kind of like, okay, I'm listening to my stomach. I'm hungry now. This is what I'm going to eat. And you kind of settle into the sweet spot once you start doing this for a couple weeks. So question number 2 I get a lot is, will fasting put me into starvation mode? Will it force my body to store more fat? And I don't really know where starvation mode, where that term came from. It probably came from a big food company who was trying to sell a lot of their products, a lot of their foods to you. So they kind of threatened you and told you that if you didn't eat enough, then your body would go into starvation mode. Luckily, your body doesn't work like that. So I saw a video a couple days ago of a guy back, I believe it was in the 70s. Now he was over 400 pounds, so he had obviously a lot of weight to lose. He fasted for 365 days. I think it was even more than that. I think it was over a year, and ended up getting down to like 150 pounds. So I'm not saying that you should do that or that's necessarily even the healthiest way to do it. I'm saying this guy was able to live off his stored body fat because that's really just energy waiting to be used for an entire year. So you can easily go 12 hours or 16 hours without eating and be perfectly fine. In fact, you actually start burning more fat when you fast because your growth hormone levels go up. So that hormone is something where it's obviously very high when you're a kid, when you're growing, when you're growing as you get into a teenager. The thing is, once you reach 30 and into 40, that declines every single year. So your natural growth hormone levels start to decline as you get older, and that's why exercise helps boost your metabolism. Fasting also helps because it triggers that increase in that hormone the longer you fast. So no, it will not put you into starvation mode. You'll actually get leaner and you actually lose weight a lot quicker if you just take a break between your meals. Another question I get a lot is, will fasting work for people with 20 or more pounds to lose? A lot of people seem to think it's a strategy just to get like the last 5 pounds off. Or, if you've changed the way you eat and you've been consistent with it for a couple years and you've really lost a lot of weight, then you should fast to get, those last 5 or 10 pounds off your stomach, to get that off. And while that will work for that, but it also works for people no matter how much weight you want to lose. If you want to lose 30 pounds, 50 pounds, if you want to lose 100 pounds, fasting is a great way to do it. Now you have to combine it with also eating healthier when you do eat your meals, but fasting, it's kind of like the secret kind of jump start. It'll help you get faster results. It will help you accelerate your results because when you're fasting, you're not eating during that time and your insulin levels are very low. Insulin is a storage hormone. It gets released every time you eat food. And if you're insulin resistant, which about 80% of the world is because we grew up eating processed foods and a lot of high carb foods, our body doesn't handle the insulin very well and it ends up getting stored in our cells as fat instead of being used for energy, which is what it's originally intended. So it doesn't really matter how much weight you have to lose. Adding fasting in is a great start. Again, I always recommend start eating healthier first, start making better food choices, and then add fasting in. Because if you just add fasting in and don't really change the way you eat, then it's not really going to make much of a difference. So it definitely works no matter how much weight you have to lose. But remember that when you do eat later on in the day, you got to start choosing healthier foods and not just reaching for whatever you want because you decided to skip breakfast that day. Another popular question, and one that I always kind of struggled with when I started fasting, is what should I eat after my fast? So if you get to the point where you're fasting for 14 hours and you're not eating your normal breakfast, what's the best way to kind of break your fast? And there's kind of two schools to thought for this. So you really just want to test them out and see what works best for you. A lot of people recommend, eating a light meal. So a salad, something with, some veggies on it, something, that's not a lot of calories, that's not, very calorically dense, to kind of just warm up your body again, to kind of get your digestive system running again. Since you haven't eaten for, whether it's 12 or 14 or 16 or 20 hours, you kind of just want to give a little bit of food in there to kind of wake everything up, and then, wait, half hour, and then eat a, more substantial meal. That is one way to do it. For me personally, I found that it really doesn't matter what I eat as long as I'm eating higher quality foods. So I don't really go with a salad, I just go for a normal meal. So I usually break my fast with eggs, honestly. So I eat eggs and bacon, I might throw a little bit of cheese in there, some broccoli on the side. I tend to eat a more higher fat diet because that's, through research that's been proven to be one of the healthiest ways you can eat. So I don't really, do the whole salad thing just to kind of, make my stomach okay when the food starts coming down. Like, I'm ready to eat when I'm ready to eat. My stomach's ready to go. So I don't, do anything like that with the lighter meals. I just go into it. So whether it's, some eggs or, if you're used to eating sandwiches for lunch, maybe you just ditch the bread and eat, some turkey with a little bit of cheese, wrapped around that with some, lettuce or something like that on it. You could, if you go out for lunch a lot at work and you're skipping breakfast as part of your fast, you could order a burger and just get rid of the bun and tell them to, hold the ketchup and a lot of the condiments with that and just, eat the burger with some cheese on it and maybe some salsa or some guacamole or something like that. But I would just recommend, trying both of them out. Have a lighter meal, see how your body handles that, see how your stomach feels, and then have, just a regular meal and see how your stomach feels. And then just pick the one that works best for you. For me, I just go straight to the meal and just make sure that it's healthier, higher fat foods. And the last question that I get a lot is fasting safe? A lot of people think that it's not safe because you're basically, starving yourself. You're, withholding food, and we think it's the worst thing in the world if you go a couple hours, without having a snack. Fasting is very, very safe and very, very healthy for you. It's actually, what we did, 20, 30, 40 years ago. People would eat dinner at 7 o'clock and they wouldn't eat breakfast again until 7 in the morning. There wasn't any snacking until food companies started introducing that into the kind of lexicon. So people started to realize, I could eat between meals and I like eating, so why not do that? So we naturally fasted. We just did it for, 12 hours at a time. And a lot of people also do the religious fast where they're fasting for much longer than that. And it's perfectly healthy and it's perfectly safe. So yes, you can fast. It's great for your body. It's great for cellular repair in your body. It's great for improving your mental function, improving your brain function. If you're, if you tend to forget things or you kind of just have that fog where you're just not really thinking clearly, fasting, adding that in, has research has shown has really improved that for a lot of people in that area. So it's very, very safe for you as long as you do it the right way, which is, again, you're not going 2 weeks without eating and then you start eating a bunch of junk after that. Just start slowly, start with 10, 12 hours and build it up from there. Very, very safe and something that I do every single day. So those are the top 5 most frequently asked questions I get when it comes to fasting. If you have any other questions, again, just let me know in the comments below and I can address those for you as well. But remember, just start slow. Use it. It's not a miracle cure-all. You still have to watch the foods that you eat and start choosing healthier foods. But fasting is definitely healthy for anybody at any age. But you might want to consult your doctor first just to make sure that he is on board with it if you decide to do it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Now, if you want to lose up to 7 pounds in the next 10 days, I'm starting a new 100% free 7-day diet challenge. So all you got to do is click on the link below. Let me know your best email address. Let me know what your name is because we're going to be helping each other out over the next 7 days. And I will send over the 7-day diet challenge to you again, 100% free. Just my way of saying thank you for taking the time to watch this video. As always, if you liked the video, click the like button below. Leave any comments below of things you want me to cover in future videos in terms of weight loss, burning fat, exercising, anything like that. And don't forget to subscribe because we are shooting new videos every single week to help you lose weight and burn fat.